Chapter 7. Leapin' Lizards, a Glacial Gecko. When Amelia Bedelia finally got home, Roger was already waiting. Sitting on the doorstep next to him was a plastic cooler. "You didn't have to bring your own refreshments," said Amelia Bedelia. "We have cold drinks." "Amelia Bedelia's right," said her mom, and she went off to make some lemonade. Roger stared at Amelia Bedelia and patted the top of the cooler. "Georgie is in here," he whispered. Amelia Bedelia felt creeped out and curious. Why would Roger bring a dead gecko to her house? "Don't worry," said Roger. "Georgie doesn't stink. He's frozen solid." Then he told Amelia Bedelia how his little brother had let Georgie out of his terrarium to show some friends. Georgie had disappeared, and they found him flattened underneath the sofa cushion. It was winter, and the ground was too frozen to bury him, so they put him in a plastic bag and stuck him in the freezer until the ground had thawed and they could have a proper burial. "Georgie died 5 months ago," said Roger. "I'd pretty much forgotten about him until I got your note. Would you like to see him?" Amelia Bedelia nodded, so Roger opened the cooler, pushed aside an ice pack, and held up the gecko. Georgie was in a little plastic bag. He was flattened out, like his head had been run over. Amelia Bedelia was fascinated. She didn't notice Clay coming up the walk. "Cool, what's that?" "It's more than cool," said Amelia Bedelia. "It's frozen." "It's Georgie," said Roger. "I never got a chance to bury him. He's a gold dust day gecko from Madagascar." Amelia Bedelia didn't know what to do. She imagined having a zoo and not a museum. "This is amazing," said Clay. "We can make a sign that says he's a reptile, and even though the word dinosaur means terrible lizard, he's not a dinosaur. We can say Georgie is an ancient lizard that fell into a glacier and was perfectly preserved until this very day." "We can write like that he liked to eat all kinds of bugs and insects," said Roger. "Even the flu?" asked Amelia Bedelia, "because that would be great." "Let's freeze him in a block of ice," said Clay. "He'll be the main attraction." "I'll put him in the bird bath," said Amelia Bedelia. She was beginning to see the possibilities in this idea. Georgie will be on a pedestal, and it can hold all the melting water. Roger looked relieved. "Once he thaws out, then we can bury him." "Absolutely," said Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia, Clay, and Roger sneaked Georgie into the kitchen. They were about to fill the plastic bag with water when they heard Amelia Bedelia's mom coming. They resealed it and tucked it to the back of the freezer behind the frozen peas. That night, everything for dinner was fresh, so the freezer door stayed shut. Amelia Bedelia had already told her mother why she had to stay late at school, but during dessert she told her dad, too. "You want to build a zoo?" asked her dad. "With real animals." "Just pets," she said. "Like, finally. And Joy has a rabbit, and Penny has a mouse. Lots of kids in my class have pets, but we'll probably use some stuffed animals, too." "You started to tell me this the other day, didn't you? So that's why the snake was in the backyard." "A snake? In our backyard?" said her dad. "Forget it." "Oh, Daddy, please," said Amelia Bedelia. "It's really a big idea. We'll have games and rides, too." "Sweetie," he said, "building a zoo is complicated. It would be different if you had done some planning." Amelia Bedelia excused herself and ran to her bedroom. She returned with her notebook. She showed her parents the plan for the zoo. It included everything from the rope swing entrance to the bird bath glacier display. All of the animals and exhibits were organized into habitats. Amelia Bedelia's parents looked at the map and at each other, and then at Amelia Bedelia. "So," said her father, smiling, "when I fell into your wading pool, it was actually a crocodile-infested river?" "Uh-huh. Sorry." "And my herb garden will become a home to a big cat?" "Yes, but it never moves," said Amelia Bedelia, "so it won't bother anybody." Her father shrugged. "Looks harmless enough, I suppose." "And you did a great job of planning," said her mother. "So let's sleep on it, and we'll talk about it in the morning." Amelia Bedelia handed her notebook to her mom. "Just don't sleep on it too much," she said. "If it gets wrinkled, I'm going to have to do it all over." Amelia Bedelia put on her pajamas and kissed her parents goodnight. She lay in bed looking at the sweet squirrel monkey perched on her windowsill. She loved her gift, and she was lucky to have such good friends at school. She could just see the reflection of the monkey in the glass. 2 monkeys are better than 1, she thought. She was about to turn off her lamp when she noticed that her monkey had lost its reflection. "That's odd," she thought. Then Amelia Bedelia's own animal instinct kicked in. She got out of bed and rummaged through her backpack. Where was the extra banana her mom always packed? "Got it!" She raised her window and set the banana on the ledge. Leaves rustled in a nearby tree, and she closed the window. Back in bed, Amelia Bedelia whispered, "Good night, little monkey."